Hello and welcome to episode 46 of Rival Banter. I'm one of your hosts, Luke Croft, and joining me, as always, my esteemed co host and my sleep paralysis demon, ladies and gentlemen, Seth Martin.
I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere, Captain.
Sometimes I just wake up and you're hovering over the end of my bed, totally nude, and in like a 5 point stance.
That's real, baby.
Yeah.
That's all me.
And I can't move, but I'm breathing heavy. And I just start breathing a little heavy. All
Yeah,
right,
you are.
moving on. How's your week going, my friend?
It's been great. Just living the dream. I'm hitting that starting to get to that exhausted point of a semester of school, but it's having a lot of fun. Esports is picking up. We just won a Smash game today. We've won chess this week. We won Fortnite, which is something new that we've been doing. So it's been cool.
What's the
And
Fortnite game mode?
So we do through Play Versus. It is build Zone Wars duos. So
Mm.
like just 2v2s, you're on like a special map. And pretty much I'm still like grappling with understanding it myself, but essentially it's just you working with your partner. You're building wacky ass towers up into the sky and killing people.
Nice. Are you allowed to wear skins in that game?
Yeah, I guess I haven't we
Well, I
play
know
with
you,
fast loose with the rules sometimes, but no, I haven't noticed anything about that in the rule book. I think that's pretty exclusive to Marvel Rivals, and we all know why.
jiggle physics.
Hmm.
Yeah. Uh, well, Seth, another week. Sorry we're a day late, guys. Had some IRL stuff going on yesterday, but we're back with our episode this week. Recording it on a Wednesday. So sorry if we're coming to your podcast feeds a day late. But this is Rival Banter. We get together every week and talk about all things Marvel Rivals and then push it out on podcast services and YouTube. Just search up Rival Banter if you want to find the full episodes. And then you can also follow us on social media at Rival Banter on Instagram and on TikTok. And we post a bunch of clips over there each week from our show. Wherever you're listening to us, make sure you're following us. We definitely appreciate that. If you're listening over on Spotify, leave us a 5-star review. Really helps push the show out to new people. And then if you haven't joined our Discord yet, make sure you do. We got a lot of fun things going on in there, talking about updates, people sharing unhinged in-game names that they've encountered. More on that here in a little bit, but lots of fun stuff going on over there. All of those places, though, if you comment, you might have your comment show up on the show. We've got some comments here that we're going to go through. AC1D Milk over on Instagram comments. We were talking about how Overwatch was kind of being pushed by rivals, and we're hoping that competition comes back the other way. Now, he initially just said they literally aren't pushing rivals, talking about Overwatch. They haven't even caught up with the rivals' tempo. Now, Seth, I don't know if you saw this comment on Instagram, but it was
I did
followed
not.
by no less than 25 replies of this guy just arguing with anybody who dared step in with him. Very adamant that rivals will never be caught by the likes of Overwatch. Um, what do you make of this comment, Seth? Do you think that Overwatch needs to have a similar tempo, cadence as Rivals in terms of like content?
No, I don't, and for a couple reasons. But number one, I think when you said ACD1 milk, I'm looking at it and I'm seeing acid milk with a one instead of an I,
Oh
which
my gosh,
sounds
you're so right.
delicious, but also problematic. But that's
Doesn't it?
fine.
Isn't that how you start making cheese?
Man, I don't know enough about
I think you
where
put a.
cheese comes from
I'll
to
look it up. You go ahead.
I think yogurt's involved or
Oh,
something
that's
like that.
true. It
I
might
don't
be. It might be
know.
yogurt. Yeah, you have to
Maybe.
acidify milk in order to make cheese.
Okay. Hell yeah. Um, Hopefully that doesn't change anybody's cheese game on the Marvel Rivals podcast. But I think it does not like. I don't see why Overwatch would ever want to. Because like no, Overwatch is. I think one of the best things about Overwatch is that it's this unique universe. It's built full of like unique and original characters. And that I think that lends itself really well to like a moderate cadence. It's not going too fast. You're not like just pouring content out there for people to consume. I think that it works so well with Marvel Rivals just because of that ginormous Rivals roster, the Marvel Universe roster, right? They can afford to do it. They've got characters out the wazoo, and so I don't. I think that would be a losing game if Overwatch even tried to do that kind of thing. But it's also its own game, as we've kind of talked about in the past couple of weeks, because of like just how it's evolved and changed over the years, as we haven't even been playing it. Coming back to it now, it's just like this totally different thing.
Yeah, and I think there's a multitude of reasons that Overwatch wouldn't match the pace of Rivals, and I think that you bring up a really good point. Like, there's a number of steps that Marvel Rivals is able to skip because they have this kind of treasure trove of existing characters to pull from. Now, they still have to figure out how they want to portray that character in game, what their abilities and stuff look like, but they're not starting from ground zero. The absolute below the foundation to build up a character. And I think there's just a lot more ideation that probably goes into an Overwatch character, both in how they fit in the game, but also how they fit into the narrative. And then there's also, I think, more of a kind of marketing struggle because of that. You're trying to introduce people to characters they don't have any familiarity with and give them reasons to be excited versus just we're adding Deadpool and then everybody who loves Deadpool loses their minds. So, but I also think we're seeing some of the like cracks in the plan of the Marvel Rivals pace. I think releasing a new character every single month and having these new half seasons every single month, I think is a lot of pressure on the balancing team to get things right. And it just adds so many variables into the game that uh, I don't think are necessary. But, um, when it comes to Overwatch, I think they didn't have a whole lot of content for a long time back
Mhm.
at the end of Overwatch 1 days. And I think Rivals is pushing them in the right direction where it's not going to be this kind of dearth of new content coming now. And plus, they just released 5 new characters in a single day. Like, that's some
They're
breakneck
making up for
pace.
lost time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but if you have some time, Seth, and you're on Instagram and want to go read it, the argument's kind of funny. This guy was really just kind of fanboying over Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, I love it.
Uh, the next comment comes from Still in Flux, friend of the show. Uh,
That old bastard.
talking about Elsa Bloodstone says she's like a Bucky Psylocke mashup. We'll talk a little bit more about Elsa, but did you get much of a chance to play her?
A little bit, I think I played a few quick plays with her, and I've definitely put some 18v18 time in Annihilation or whatever. I've watched some of my students play Elsa, and a couple really, really like her and like her kit. I know she's since been nerfed. I haven't played around with her since that most recent patch or whatever, but yeah, I've had fun with the little bit that I've played. I like how straightforward she is. She's not like this kind of convoluted kit to really get your mind around. There's a little bit of that in there if you really dig into the literature on her hero card or whatever. But it's not like you're reading pages on pages. You're not reading like a full brochure um, of abilities and like just kind of like what this thing can do.
Yeah, she's definitely got a kit that I think makes a lot more sense to just pick up and play. She's got some dashes, and she's got the little mark to kind of stack her passive, which is probably the most complicated thing within her kit. But overall, I think this is really what they could do to some of those like season zero characters. To make their kits a little bit more interesting. I like the sort of passive play that you do with Elsa. Phoenix has a similar thing. I think uh that's the kind of evolution we need on some of those earlier kits. Like, let's just maybe add some more interesting passives to them, or just one additional button. But it doesn't need to be this like, all right, now if you have this deck out, you've got these 8 abilities, but if you are equipped with this weapon, there's 7 of these abilities. We need a little bit less of that as we go forward.
Yeah, I concur.
Then DC Brenton left us a comment over on Discord. Says, Have y'all covered the esports scene more in depth on a previous episode of the podcast? I enjoyed hearing you recently talk about the new Ignite partnerships and the teams you follow, FlyQuest, Space Station Gaming. I thought it could be cool to hear y'all give a primer on the scene, especially for folks new to following esports. I think it would be interesting to know. Is there a reputation or history to certain teams or comparison to other teams? Like this team's like the Cowboys, they have the most money, but it hasn't always translated to success. Or X team is known for having being a very scrappy underdog. Also, are there any particular pro players that you enjoy watching or rooting for? The first pro players I came across online were coincidentally Aramori and Korova, so I enjoyed watching Sentinels last year. I'm definitely interested in getting to know more of the teams, especially as we get more into this year's Ignite tournaments. A lot to unpack there. I will say this: I do want us to do a little bit more of like an actual Ignite primer where we kind of talk through some of the teams coming into this year. I haven't prepped any for that. I've just seen some of the rosters coming through. But I think
Mhm.
this would be a cool opportunity right now, Seth, to talk about just like how do we follow the scene? What teams do we like? Are there certain players that you like? Um,
Yeah, I know for me, for one, I don't particularly follow any team well. I've said kind of before that I'm a space station fan, but like on a day to day basis, I probably could like I struggle to remember like player names and things like that, just because I find it kind of hard to follow sometimes. I'm just not as online as I think a lot of like most esports fans or diehards probably are. So like when I get those alerts on Twitch or YouTube that like my team's playing, or I'll follow. Esports is complicated enough anyway, because I think like you and I talked about maybe when we were back in DreamHack, and since then there's just so much. Certain game or certain teams only play certain games, and so like I, for example, am a space station fan in Halo and like Apex on and off, and now I'm planning on being a Rival space station fan. They don't play. Space Station doesn't play like Call of Duty, and so like I'm an Optic fan in Call of Duty, but they are bitter rivals in Halo, right? And so there's kind of this years long back and forth between them. Like they're the two teams that primarily tend to win championships in the Halo championship scene. So it's I don't know, there's a lot to unpack and a lot to it. I think it's notoriously hard to really get into it, just because of the nature of that beast, that there's just so much and so many different spaces, because there's so many different games that do play competitively in some kind of esports scene. But I'm down for this idea. I love the idea of kind of like I think that this like doing this show helps me kind of keep track of the game and the meta in a way that I didn't really before, and probably wouldn't left to my own devices. So I love the idea of doing this as kind of a way to help us kind of get invested in the scene a little bit more ourselves, especially for this game.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that and keep up. I want to keep up with the rosters a little bit more. Back when I was like really into Overwatch League, I could tell you who the players played for, like the season before, and like all the roster moves and stuff. Um, with Marvel Rivals not having kind of an established scene last year, it was to me it was a little harder to get invested. But
Hmm.
now seeing the like partnership teams and the investment that NetEase is making into the esports scene, I feel a little more incentivized to kind of jump in and really kind of give that effort like I did to Overwatch League this season. So as we get closer to the actual season, we'll do maybe a breakdown of kind of who we're looking at going into the season. And then I'd also love us to do like weekly like score predictions and stuff like that for some of the big matches that are coming up, just to give us a little bit more to stay locked in. But for me, definitely like esports was something that uh you know Overwatch League was the very first esport I got into, and I didn't even get into it because I turned on a Overwatch League match. They had this like pre-game show called Watch Point every week during Overwatch League season 1. And that was the first like Overwatch League content that I was kind of confronted with, and it looked exactly like an ESPN show, like a sports broadcast. And I grew up a huge sports fan, so I was like, holy shit, I didn't know that this world kind of existed of these two loves I have with sports and video games intersecting. And I got so into Overwatch. I started watching in stage 2 of that season 1. I got so into it, I went back and like binge watched stage 1 of that season like it was a TV show I needed to get caught up on, because I just loved everything about it. The production value, they had like stat screens, and so you could kind of dig in all these really nerdy ways. And then from there I like got into League, which is kind of the avenue that got me working in the esports scene. But FlyQuest was the team that I just picked to root for, because the first game I watched there, they had this top laner named Viper, who was kind of a one-trick Riven, and he popped the fuck off in the first game that I watched, and it was so hype. And yeah, FlyQuest just made like a lifelong fan out of me from that one performance. So yeah. Are there any players, Seth, from last year, like who you kept up with, like Thieves, 100 Thieves?
Kept up me is just like I watched them at DreamHack for
Hmm.
the grand finals, and I kind of dug them. That was before again like Space Station kind of entered the scene, or is entering the scene now. So yeah, I'm terrible enough with names as it is. Like I struggle to name people that I see on a day to day basis. So I know that there were players that I kind of like the vibe. Who was the mag player from Thieves?
That's the guy whose name I was trying to remember, because he's a controller player.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
let me
I
look it up.
thought that was cool. He was the guy with the Crocs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I think you're thinking of Terra, the
I was
DPS
yeah, I
player.
am
Yeah.
thinking of Terra. Yeah, was he? Yeah, he was because he was playing Bucky and whatnot, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's probably the best DPS player in the rival scene right now, but he's not with 100 Thieves this year. He's going to um Navi. He went to Europe to
Oh,
play.
okay.
So
All
he's going to
right.
be playing on like insane ping. I don't really know why he decided to go that route, but
Mm. Hmm.
TTK is the mag player you're thinking
Yeah,
of.
I like TTK too. Yeah, I remember watching those mag plays and just being like, hell yeah, another like my guy, the controller dude.
Yeah. As a FlyQuest fan, I really like Spark Chief, who's one of their tank players. He's a lot of fun to watch. So FlyQuest is kind of the like socially conscious team. They do a lot of like environmental and charity stuff. I know one year they did like we're planting a tree for every kill we get in League of Legends, and stuff like that. And then 100 Thieves is like the creator brand, right? It's like ran by Nate Shot. They do like the big merch drops and stuff like that. So they're kind of the flashy team in the league. But other comparisons, as far as that, I don't know. What's kind of Space Station known for?
I think Space Station they kind of have like it's definitely very different, but what do you mean when you say what they're known for? What do you mean exactly?
Like just as a brand, do they have like a
Okay.
like what's their
Uh,
identity?
Kind of just like it's like I kind of say like 100 Thieves just like in general as a company is kind of like a vibe. Like you kind of like you look at somebody and you can almost tell they're a 100 Thieves fan. That's like all about style and kind of elegance and stuff like that. Space Station, I kind of like them just because of how like kind of goofy and unique they are. They kind of have this aesthetic that is just kind of like it's not like carefree or careless, but it's got this like silliness to it that I really appreciate. And like they're of course they're like a serious force in the esports scene, but they do other stuff like make goofy videos. The founder Shonduras, he has like a YouTube show or something like that, but with his like daughter, his young daughter, and they make like kids content and stuff like that. So there's a lot of that kind of thing. It's very different. Like I say, Space Station is a vibe too, but it's just a very different vibe than the kind
Mhm.
that like Thieves puts out or something like that. So yeah, I think they just kind of like they have that like more. I don't know if wholesome's the right word, but just kind of like a like almost like a gonzo. I think that's the word I'm looking for, like a gonzo element to them, but not gonzo as far as like Hunter S. Thompson off the wall gonzo, but just like kind of out there, kind of loopy, head in the clouds kind of thing.
Yeah, a couple others that are going to be in the league this year. So Navi is the returning champ, and then Virtus Pro is the other like was the other dominant European team last year. Then Heretics is jumping in. They've had a presence in League and I think like CSGO and stuff like that. But then on the North America side, we talked about this a little bit last week, but NRG is coming back to the hero shooter genre. They were the old San Francisco Shock from the Overwatch League, and they're actually bringing that Shock branding back. And Shock was one of the most successful teams in the Overwatch League. NRG wanted to invest a lot of money into making that team good, so I'm really interested in how they do this year. And then the other one that was really interesting to me on the list was TSM, who had kind of uprooted all of their esports, like North American esports operations, and move them over to Asia. And so seeing them kind of come back to the LA area and participate in the NA region, I think is an interesting turn of events, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would probably know more about some of that stuff, like being an esports guy, someone from the scene, than I would, I guess. But you're also a better sports fan in general than I am. You've got a lifetime of experience, and I'm kind of playing catch up right now at this phase of life.
Yeah, but I'll give DC Brenton the same advice I gave you when you came to me years ago and said you wanted to get into baseball, which is just pick a team. It doesn't have to have any rhyme or reason. Maybe you like their branding, maybe you like their colors, their jerseys, maybe you like a player that's on the team. Just pick that team and say, I'm just going to keep up with them and see how they do. I'm going to try to tune into their matches. I'm going to learn who their players are. And then from there, you can kind of just kind of build out from there. So, and I think that somebody in our Discord mentioned the same thing too. The one difficult thing about esports is there's a lot of roster turnover because there's not a lot of long-term contracts. In fact, in Marvel Rivals, there's no long-term contracts. You're only signed basically for a year. So you're going to probably fall in love with players who are on another team next year. But I think that's going to help. That helps you keep up, right? Because then it's like, I'm invested in FlyQuest, but now Spark Chief's over here playing for this team, so I'm going to watch him too. So yeah, that would be my advice for getting in. Mm-hmm. Then we had a couple reactions to our blind ranking of unhinged names. Punk Rock Capitalist says Eden Beaver was not that funny.
I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree and respectfully say, get fucked. I don't mean that, but a little bit, but a little bit I do. I just like I appreciate a pun, and that's just like such a like it just came like to see it blind. It came out of left field for me. I just was not expecting it. Like just reading it right now, no, I'm not laughing. But in the moment, like in the thrill of the moment, it just struck me. And plus two, usually I'm pretty tired by the time like this time of day when we're recording the podcast. Maybe getting a little loopy. It's either really tame or super loopy by this point. So I think they caught me on like in loopy mode when you said Eden Beaver. Eden Beaver.
And it's still
Rock
objectively
Come
funny.
on.
Like you don't have to laugh at it right now for it to still just be
You
objectively
appreciate
funny.
Yeah, you appreciate like the nuance and the effort of like how did you think of this? Is it something you heard? Did you just kind of realize like Eden, eating, beaver means genital, whatever. I still think it's classic. If I was a tattoo guy, I might get it tattooed on me or something like that. Who knows?
Hell yeah. Then Brandon Hampton 292 says, I had one guy whose name was 3-foot butt crack.
I love that. I absolutely adore that name. I wish I thought of it myself. I saw somebody today who was their name was Testicles, like like a Greek
Like a
hero.
Greek philosopher.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah. They like kind of like had played around with the spelling, I think, so that it didn't say testicle. It was like testicles, but like it still got a cross. I also saw S number 2 OOL sample stool sample. I'm like, that's pretty good,
Yeah, those are good.
I'm looking forward to the blind rank today. I'll just say that.
Yeah, that's a good transition into our blind ranking of unhinged names for this week. We'll see if any of those top 3-foot butt crack or stool sample. So Seth, here's how it works. we're ranking these 1 through 5, 1 being the most unhinged, 5 being the most tame, and you have to rank them without knowing what's coming next. So let's blind rank these unhinged names. I'm going to drop them in to the chat here, and I will read them as I drop them in for you, so we can react kind of together. So the first name is Dr. Tickle Farts.
That's a chuckle. Got a little more than a chuckle out of me. I'm gonna go 4 for Dr. Tickle Farts. He also went 8 and 11. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
not great.
we don't
He
we
was
don't have to
Hulk.
talk about. We don't have to talk about. Yeah, he's a doctor. I mean, he's a busy guy.
Yeah. All right. So Dr. Tickle Farts is in the slot at number 4. Let's go to our next one, Seth. We've got I Fight Grandmas.
That's all right. I'm glad I saved 5. I think that's gonna be my 5. 5 is least, right?
Yes, yes.
I Fight Grandmas is gonna be a 5 for me, dog.
All right. Your next one is going to be Monster Day. This was submitted by a fan over on the Discord.
I appreciate that. That's a solid 3. It's got some things going for it aesthetically. Is that a capital O or is that a 0 in Monster?
It looks like a 0.
Okay, I dig that. It's got like a 1 in De. So yeah, I think it gets its point across. You kind of understand what they mean when they say Monster De, and it's got some numbers in there. It's got a little bit of something for everybody.
All right, you've got 1 and 2 left here, Seth. I'm going to drop this in and let you read this next one.
Hang on a second. Hang on, I can't
Oh,
see it. This thing popped up. There it is. All right. I remember this. I remember this one. I'm gonna have to go.
hold on.
This is I'm in a wheelchair. I'm in a wheelchair. And he misspelled wheelchair. They misspelled wheelchair.
Wait, I didn't notice they misspelled wheelchair. That does make it funnier. You think they're
no,
camping on this because they plan to play Professor X?
I mean, that's a logical theory to me. I'm in a wheelchair. I mean, it's just like you kind of feel like I don't know. I feel like it's designed to throw you off guard. And yeah, I'm gonna give this a 2. 2 for I'm in a wheelchair because I feel like you've got something hidden, like a gem hidden for last, but I could be wrong.
I'm gonna be honest, Seth. I didn't even think about how the person might actually be in a wheelchair.
I mean, yeah, they could be. I feel like I've got to almost guarantee. I would probably bet money, and I'm not a gambling guy. I almost bet money that this person is not in a wheelchair. Mainly because they misspelled wheelchair.
Yeah, that's true.
And probably for comedic effect, but I could be wrong, you know. I'm in a wheelchair. If you're listening out there, let us know.
Send us a picture of you either standing or in a wheelchair. Put this mystery to bed. Here's your last one, Seth.
And I'm reading this one out too. Right?
Yeah. This was my favorite one of the week.
Yeah. This this could rub people, no pun intended, this could rub people the wrong way in a lot of ways. This one is Jehovah's Thickness. Jehovah, and it's like not spelled the way that you would expect it to be, which kind of adds to the brilliance of it in some ways, or at least the brilliance of like kind of the internet play on words. It's got a 0 and the O in Jehovah. Thickness doesn't have a K or a second S. I don't know. It's like, of course, like it's religiously problematic for a large population of the world. Sure. I just wasn't. It's a play on words for Jehovah's Witness too, right? Like it's got that going for it. Um, yeah, you imagine just like reading that kill feed. You just got put down by Jehovah's Thickness. There's a lot to that. There's a lot to unpack there.
I have a buddy of mine from LA that grew up Jehovah's Witness and has since kind of left that world behind. But I sent this to him and he really appreciated it. So,
Mhm.
yeah, this was my favorite of the week. So, good ranking, Seth. If you guys want to submit the unhinged names that you come across, make sure you jump in the Discord and drop those in the unhinged IGN's channel in the community section. So, all right, Seth. Let's talk a little bit about our weekend rivals. We'll get fully into our season 6.5 thoughts, but what did you get up to?
I've just kind of tried to slowly climb. I'm up in like Diamond 2 now.
Oh, nice.
So, getting closer and closer to the dream of Grandmaster, but it's definitely kind of far away. Some games go really well, some games it's just like uh, you're just flipping and flopping back and forth. Played a lot of 18v18 and just kind of like working on kind of steadily rising like skill proficiency with like Emma. With I'm trying to dabble around some more with like Ultron and Strange a little bit too, and just kind of trying to be a little bit of everything all at once. Still kind of grinding Mr. Fantastic a little bit. So yeah, I'm in a lot of it's like 6 or 7 places at the same time, but just still having fun. I think I love that I can just kind of bounce on and off this game multiple times a day, just grind out a few matches, and yeah, this is the live service game that I always dreamed of.
Yeah, I think I am a win or two away from Diamond 2. We had kind of an up and down week in ranked. We didn't play as much ranked this week either because we played some quick play with Larry, and there were a couple nights where we didn't even get a chance to play. So, um, but yeah, I've also been playing more quick play, played some Elsa in quick play, but really just continuing to play Rogue. And I've been playing a lot more Groot lately too. I feel like I'm getting pretty good with Groot and understanding how to use his kit a little bit more. But so I was playing Rogue this week, Seth, and I need to know who the CFO of NetEase is. And I'm not talking about the chief financial officer. I'm talking about the chief freak officer. Like, who is making these freaky decisions um, over here in Marvel Rivals? Because, Rogue has her ability where she grabs an opponent and can steal one of their abilities. And normally when you do it, you just put them on their back on the ground. But I grabbed Deadpool the other day. Have you ever noticed when Rogue grabs Deadpool, what happens?
I have not, no.
So Deadpool goes face down, ass up into Rogue when you're stealing an ability from him, which you don't steal
Does
anything
he
from him. But
does he make a little noise or
I
anything?
don't,
Like,
I don't
I
think he
think
does. I'll try to
I think
find the animation though.
that would seal the deal for me. Just like a little, like I'm not going to make it here. But
Yeah, I
you know,
understand.
little
Yeah,
grunt, little moan.
I want to know like what these creative meetings are like. Like are they like how do they assess the slutty ideas they want to throw in to this title?
Yeah, so like I imagine like a meeting room, like people in suits and ties or
I'm there.
whatever, khaki pants,
Mhm.
and you just like you've got like the projector going. You've got your like pointing stick and your kind of Mad Men style, and you're like talking, you're like addressing graphs and charts. And on one of those graphs and charts, a major feature is the like protruding ass of a man in spandex. It's boggles the mind.
Yeah, I don't know, like I would love it if this is like a part of them talking with like the board members, like you're saying, like, okay, guys, in last quarter we sold $16.8 million in skins. And now let's look at our new character, and it's just Deadpool face down, ass up with Rogue. Like,
Kicking his legs back or something, or just like imagine like talking about the skins in general. Like, this is our largest selling. We had the most profitable quarter ever. This past quarter, and here's a major part of it. And here's kind of what we plan to imitate in the future. And it's just mommy Frost, in all of her various iterations. And there's clapping of hands going around, there's shaking of hands, people nodding,
mhm,
um, uh, yeah, celebrating the good times, and good business, something like
what a
that.
job.
And then how do you get this job is my kind
Yeah.
of follow. question to that, because they say like stuff like dress for the job you want. How do I do this?
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I think it's risque cosplay. I think you just got to show up to the office one day
Not
and
my
demand it.
office. Can't do that at my office, but
No, not at your office, their
maybe
office.
another. Maybe another. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. There's certain, never mind. All right. Moving on. Let's move on to the news. We got some new skins, speaking of, coming this week. A lot of new skins. We have a
Mhm.
new event, actually, that's going to include a legendary Wanda skin and a free Doctor Strange skin. And this is called, I think, like Faulty Dream something something. But let me share the screen here, Seth. What do you think of these skins?
I'm kind of digging them. Like again, like I think I do kind of appreciate this Scarlet Witch skin
Yeah.
is pretty unique compared to like pretty much every other one that she has. Um, I like the Doctor Strange skin. I kind of like the purpley aesthetic of a lot of this stuff too. I haven't gone and explored like every skin. Is there what else is coming out with that pass? Is it? I'm trying to
I
watch
think
the
these are the
trailer
only two skins in the pass.
now. Okay,
It's the
that
only
makes
two they've
sense.
shown, at least.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean, I like them. I definitely appreciate them. I do wonder how, like, I love the idea that Scarlet Witch is not just all decked out in red, but I also
Hmm.
wonder, like, how am I gonna tell who she is to some degree? I guess just by the hand and like the orb of energy suction or whatever going on there.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to look at her old. Is it just the VFX that changed, or did they add new audio for her too?
I've been listening and watching with no audio on, so I couldn't
Gotcha.
begin to tell you right there.
But yeah, I love the strange skin. Very emo. Very. It's not a phase mom. Uh, in that. Very JD Vance with the black eyeliner. Um,
Rock and roll.
yeah, but I'm with you on the Wanda skin. I think. I love that they've kind of taken a totally different direction. When's the last time we got a two skin event like this? Maybe was it the like mag event like way back?
Maybe, yeah. Who else came with the bag skin?
Was it Iron Fist? I can't remember, but
Yeah, it's hard to say.
yeah, it makes me wonder how much this pass is going to cost because most of the events that we've had lately have been 990. I can't imagine them charging 990 for this. Maybe like 600, 400.
Yeah, if it's this limited, there may be like you said, stuff that isn't included in that brief trailer. I think they've done that before too, like where they haven't shown every single thing in that, or maybe they come out with it like tomorrow or something like that. Since it drops, is it tomorrow evening or Friday?
The event is tomorrow. So,
Okay, good
yeah.
stuff.
Then we do have two new skins coming to the shop on Friday. The first is this new Emma skin, Emma Marauder something. I don't have it pulled up right now,
Black
but
Queen of the Marauders,
yes. So her pirate skin in the game now.
and it is already sold.
Yeah, the skin is really cool. Um, the bird emote given the rogue feeling there because rogue has a bird emote as well.
Mm,
But yeah, they're doing some different things here. I mean, they still have sort of the coattails, but it's just a big like overcoat that's draped over her body.
mhm.
So yeah, I'm sold on this skin as well. It looks great. And then we also have a new Iron Man skin coming to the game. The Iron Mariner skin. I'm not a big Iron Man player, Seth. I
Mhm.
know you aren't either, but what do you think of this skin?
I mean, I think it's cool. I like it's definitely unique for Iron Man. I do kind of like enjoy the like the bear skin um skins that they have where like you're seeing like him as a person, not just the metal
Hmm.
suit. And like but he has like kind of um just different parts of the suit that kind of enable him to do his thing. Kind of like the suit, like the business suit
Yeah,
Iron Man with like is a shirt unbuttoned or something like that in that to where you can get to his energy core or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah. It's like
something like
embedded in
that.
his chest. Yeah,
Yeah, so that kind of stuff I like. I think it's a nice change of pace for him too. There's a lot that you can do with Iron Man. I feel like because of that. Same thing with a lot of people. Like I'm sure you could do a Cap with no mask on, or like a torn mask, Spider Man, or really just anybody. You can just kind of mess around with that, take hoods on and off, tatter gear, that kind of thing. So just whatever it is, I do kind of appreciate the differences as long as they don't impede gameplay in any way.
Yeah. What do you think about this Spider-Man Noir series that's coming to Amazon Prime?
I mean, I'm intrigued. I always really liked the aesthetic of Spider-Man Noir. Um, just like it seems cool. Nicolas Cage is
Yeah.
Spider-Man in there, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting to me. I'm sure it could go a number of different ways into how that actually feels to watch, but I'm excited for it. I'm interested to see it. I think I talked to you about Wonder Man um, earlier this week, and we were
Yeah.
playing one night, and I'm still working my way through that. It's like a short, probably limited series, but it's been awesome. Just kind of like I think it's titled like one of the Marvel Spotlight productions or something like that. Kind of like the werewolf one they did for Halloween, like the black and white special a couple of years ago,
Hmm.
that had Man Thing, and I think a kid told me today Emma Bloodstone's in that, and I had no idea. I didn't remember that at all, and haven't checked to verify that it's true, but it sounded true enough to me. Um, yeah, like I think that there's still so much potential and like so many cool things that could be done with like the MCU and all like connections that you could make to this game and all kinds of other stuff. I'm excited. I've also read some kind of troubling things, I think, and I couldn't like sum them up for you right now, but I've kind of seen some kind of pessimistic takes on what that show, the noir show, is going to be like. But I also like to take those critiques with a grain of salt before I watch the show or go to the movie or whatever it is, because I don't know. There are like anybody can look. Opinions are like buttholes, right? Everybody has them. They all stink, like people say. I don't know. I'm ready to give it a shot. I do think it looks cool. I'm just hoping that it's got a nice balance of like the kind of noir vibes that genre is so famous for, but also has plenty of like spider shooting action.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm really interested in it too. You know me, I'm not much of like a Marvel guy when it comes to like watching the shows and all that sort of stuff. But when I saw that Nick Cage was playing Spider-Man, I first encountered this show on TikTok and I thought it was like a joke or like a fan project or something that like
Hmm.
Nick Cage had just randomly signed up for. Um, but the more that I watched the video talking about it, they were talking about how like it was actually filmed in black and white, and then kind of like digitally altered to be in color as well. I think that's really cool. The designs of the characters I think are cool. But I bring it up because I would love to see some Spider-Man Noir skins come to Marvel Rivals. I think that
Oh,
would
they've got to.
be
Yeah.
really cool, to have like a black and white aesthetic skin uh, in the game, would be
Mhm.
tight. All right, Seth, let's jump up to the next major piece of news here, and we're going to skip the next one and come back to it. But Marvel Rivals has teased a new announcement at in-person fan event this March, and this is over on GameSpot from Moises Tavares. It says it's been more than a year since Marvel Rivals, the hero shooter based on the famous comic book brand, was released. In the year since, Marvel Rivals has proved itself as a competitor in the space to genre heavyweights like Overwatch and shown it's got long legs. Now, NetEase is looking to celebrate its success with an in-person celebration. NetEase and Marvel Games have set a date for Marvel Rivals Assemble, a live event meant to mark the occasion and look to the future. On March 3rd, the teams will take over the legendary El Capitan Theater in Hollywood for a show that will reportedly, quote, deliver exclusive reveals, all new content, and moments designed to celebrate the Marvel Rivals universe, end quote. There's going to be some panels there and all that sort of stuff too. Seth, you seem excited about this.
I read this, and I like immediately like a part of my brain somewhere was like, let's book those tickets to
To LA.
Los Angeles, let's go. And then I had to remember, like I have a family, I have a job, I have commitments and things. It's
And this is
hard
a
to.
Tuesday.
This is like a Tuesday. You're gonna like sail across the country, in the sky to go to a Marvel Rivals event. Not bloody likely, but it sounds fun. That's kind of what we did with DreamHack. Like, we just kind of found out that Ignite was gonna be there, and we just kind of like within a week or so
Yeah,
took
we
off.
ordered tickets like that Tuesday, and we were there that weekend. So
And I mean, it was great. So like, it was kind of that, like, kind of like almost like a redux of that kind of like emotion. But I like had to kind of take a step back and say like, well, not this time. If they do an East Coast thing, if they go to New York, I say we book a flight and we go up there. But who
yeah, if this
knows?
was on a weekend, I'd be game to just go to LA. I got people out there, so
Mm,
so that would be fun. But yeah, it's on Tuesday. But I love this, man, and I love like more of these kind of. I remember the old like BlizzCon days where they'd reveal a lot of Overwatch news and stuff like that. And it was just these really cool moments where you could not just see the community digitally coming together, but seeing them physically coming together to celebrate the game. So I'm really interested to see everything that they do at this event on March 3rd. But Seth, what interests me the most is exclusive reveals, all new content, that sort of stuff. So what do you think we're going to see coming out of this event?
I'm imagining we're gonna definitely get some character teases. I couldn't begin to tell you who, but maybe some that like we've kind of seen hints about along the way. Maybe some new. I would be at a loss for words if they didn't do some kind of like Deadpool-esque reveal. Maybe not somebody as big as Deadpool, but just kind of like a deep dive into, and kind of like a huge tease at this character. I imagine maybe some new modes and like topics about that, something about what's coming ahead to kind of shake up the game a little bit, and maybe I don't know. When is this again? What's the date
March
in
3rd.
March 3rd? So here soon. I imagine like we're gonna start seeing more, some more like roster information and some hard details about what this, kind of like revamped Ignite season is gonna look like.
Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah, this also kind of puts us like squarely in the timing for season 7 stuff. So I think we'll get like what you're saying. I think we'll get some teases for some new characters, but I think we're also going to just get a full on, probably the full on character trailer for whoever the season 7 character is going to be. Now, I'm kind of with you on they go big again because Deadpool was announced at the Game Awards, and I, I don't know. I think like the season 7 characters have kind of been hinted at as being. Let me look this up. Um, season 7 Marvel Rivals characters. Sorry, I thought a black cat and white fox um are the
I know
ones.
Black Cat. Who is White Fox?
I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, so season
Huh.
7 is going to be on March 20th. Um, I don't know who White Fox is. Do you? So you know who Black Cat is?
Yeah, yeah, she's like a Spider-Man villain. It's like kind of very Catwoman-esque, in a lot of ways. I'm sure there are lots of differences too. But yeah, kind of like a small-time nemesis of Spider-Man, sometimes love interest of Spider-Man, I think as well. I think she was in one like the first Spider-Man from Insomniac. She was like
Mm.
one of the DLC villains, for one of the first like DLC story packages with that game,
Oh, gotcha.
if I'm not mistaken. White Fox looks familiar. I couldn't like tell you where I've seen White Fox, but doing a quick Google search, I know that I've seen her somewhere somehow.
Yeah. I don't know either of these characters. You guys know me. I am not the lore guy, so I'll just be excited to play them. But yeah, we'll probably see more of them. But then I think they might announce that season 8 will be Cyclops because season 8 will land us kind of in the May area, so going into summer. So yeah, I can see them kind of teasing Cyclops.
I think that's a good, like a good character, solid choice to have for like a deep dive reveal. Because like I think we got the Deadpool news and that big like info dump like a solid season ahead of when he dropped, right? Or
S-
was it a little bit
So the
shorter
Game
than
Awards were like beginning of December, and then he released it like the beginning of January, right?
that?
Or
Okay,
end of
yeah, so that
January.
sounds maybe like a
So yeah,
half season or something like that,
yeah,
or hmm,
yeah. So a little bit ahead of time. Yeah. I love the idea with Ignite. I would love to also see them. Did you see Overwatch League's bringing back, or Overwatch is bringing back the World Cup?
no.
Yeah. So Overwatch used to do this big World Cup every year where and it worked like the soccer World Cup where teams, countries would assemble teams and then compete. And it was like super hype. Some of the best Overwatch matches that were played professionally were in the World Cup. I would love to see Rivals try to do something similar to that. I don't know if they have quite the like region identities that Overwatch had when they brought the World Cup in to do something similar to that. But maybe it's like a regional all stars tournament, like best players from Asia, best players from Oceania, best players from North America. Grouping up to play in a tournament, something like that could be cool. I'd like to see them kind of announce an additional thing on top of Ignite for the esports scene. And then I think we're finally going to get a look at whatever this next kind of PvE mode they've been teasing and talking about is going to be. So either that or the capture the flag one that was kind of leaked a few months ago.
Hmm,
And then we'll definitely get skins, lots of skin reveals.
got
Got to. All right. Speaking of content, we got our season 6.5 roadmap this week as well. Obviously, we have all the stuff from the February 13th. This week, the Monster Kingdom Championship is coming, the new event, Faulty Dream, and then the new event, Twisted Nightmare, for the skins that we talked about, and then the Emma Frost and Iron Man. Next week, we'll have the Moon Knight and Phoenix skins coming. Then we have a new Psylocke and Captain America skin coming March 6th, and then March 13th a new Thing skin and Daredevil skin. This Thing skin looks tight.
It does. I think I've got like one skin, like every drop, I've got one skin picked out that I'm gonna get, which is kind of a breakneck pace for me. Yeah, I'm
All right,
loving
let
the
me
look
guess
ahead.
them.
My wallet is not. Go for it.
All right, so
It's not. It shouldn't be hard to guess.
yeah, I don't think it's going to be hard. So you're going to get the Emma skin
Oh yeah.
for sure on the 20th. The
Hmm.
27th, that's the toughest one for me. That one, Phoenix.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Um, which is also, I think, why Phoenix didn't get the nerf, which we'll talk about
Man,
here in a minute.
that tracks. Yeah, she's got like it's the quiet count or like what is it, the autumn, some whatever. One of the
Quiet Council of Krakoa.
yeah, yeah, it kind of goes along with the mag skin from a couple of drops ago, like purple suit and all that. I dig it.
Then the Cap skin, obviously, the Twisted Nightmare Cap
Mhm,
skin.
mhm,
Is he in
mhm.
like knight armor?
It looks like it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
like
looks
a
cool
quick
as hell
glance.
too.
Yeah, like black knight armor, like stars kind of got like a little red or something to it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
like that. And then the Thing, obviously, for March
Oh yeah, big
13th.
time. Big time.
Yeah, the Thing skin is sold for me already. The Emma skin, maybe the Moon Knight skin. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't even really play Cap, but that skin is sick. So,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, but
It
yeah,
will be mine.
no new maps, no new modes outside of the like Monster Kingdom Championship. So this season's a little bit lighter, which we kind of noted that with the announcements last week. But I'm okay with that. They need to kind of slow down a little bit and get a handle on this game.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's I think it's got a snowball thing going right now to a degree. And I'm kind of here for it, but I'm also, it's like when you're riding down a big ass hill on a skateboard, the wheels start wobbling a little bit, and it
yeah,
could go either way. I think the wheels are beginning to twitch right now, but that doesn't mean that the the ship is lost.
yeah, for sure. Then the final news story on the list, Seth, I figured I would share some heartwarming news. This was over on Reddit from Zero Point Blaster, who posted and said, Marvel Rivals devs care about the community. And the story he attached to this message is that my father's favorite Marvel character ever was Iron Fist. He was the first hero I have ever played when the game came out. Unfortunately, my father passed away. I never got the chance to purchase the Chinese New Year. Uh, the Chinese New Year Iron Fist last year in August of 2025. The devs added the skin to my account in memory of him, and he attached a screenshot of the message that he got sent. So, dear player, we are truly sorry for your loss. Please accept our heartfelt condolences from the team. Your father's love for Marvel Rivals and the Iron Fist Lion's Gaze costume moved us deeply. Thank you for sharing the memory with us. It deserves to be honored. We will grant the Lion's Gaze bundle to your account and deduct 2,200. Wait a minute. Did I get? I'm so stupid, dude.
What happened?
It says we will grant the Lion's Gaze bundle to your account and deduct 2,200 lattice as requested.
Yeah, so they paid for it or whatever. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Is this real?
I don't know. You put it in the thing.
I
It's on
put it in
Reddit.
the show notes.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's real. So he decided to pay for it. They just gave him the bundle that wasn't available. May the
Yeah.
vibrant life of the Lion's Dance and Iron Fist Unyielding Resolve bring you a measure of comfort in this difficult time. With respect, all of us on the Marvel Rivals dev team. Okay. Making him pay 2,200 lattice for it, I think, is a little weird. Like, just give him the bundle. Right? Like,
I like that. Like it started off like this is heartwarming, and then this little detail missed in there. That's
yeah,
I
it made
like.
me think it was a meme at first, but all the comments are like, so sorry for your loss, yada,
Mhm.
yada. Um, and apparently he told them not to give it to me for free. I'll pay for the currency.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. It's a heartwarming story to go out of your way for a fan who reaches out and want to do something kind for him. Even if he specifies not to give it to him for free, I think it's a little weird to take 2,200 lattice for taking $22 out of this man's wallet for this bundle is kind of crazy.
Hey, that's what he asked for. I mean, they're giving him what he wants. This game's done a great job of giving the people what they want.
All right, that one threw me for a loop. I don't know how I missed that before dropping it in the show notes, but I'm glad it caught me here because I think that's funnier. All right, Seth, let's jump into our topic of the day. Season 6.5 is out. And Seth, you kind of mentioned about how the wheels kind of feel like they're starting to rattle. And we talked about it last week that the patch notes that they released didn't really make a lot of sense. They gave some weird buffs to like ultimate charge, and they didn't really nerf the things that most of the people have complained about. And that kind of got the community worked up into an absolute tizzy. I don't know if you spend any time at all on like the Marvel Rivals subreddit. I know you said you're in some Facebook groups that you see every now and again, so I don't know if you saw any there, but absolute doomer status on the subreddit, just talking about how the devs are cooked. This game is over. The balance makes no sense. No, they don't even care about this game. Overwatch did an emergency pass. Marvel Rivals could never. And then Marvel Rivals came out and said, hey, we're putting out an emergency patch this week to take care of some things. We'll get into the details of that in a moment, Seth. But did you catch any of the negativity coming off of the community?
Zero of the negativity. I heard a couple of like students at school kind of mention it in passing, but yeah, I think that's just kind of the nature of the internet, right? Is people kind of freak out and they kind of like compound on top of each other. And kind of become like, what's that? What's that? Like a rat king of just negativity, like just everything kind of twisted up and tied together. I mean, sure, there's definitely some work that needed to be done. I'm gonna play the hell out of this game, whether it's needs some love or not. But yeah, I am glad that they did this emergency patch. I think emergency is a strong word, and that kind of lends like undue credibility to like some of
Well,
these
I don't think they
claims.
called they didn't
Okay,
reference it, but
okay,
I think that's just what you call these kinds of patches in uh, competitive games.
that makes sense.
But I don't know, man. Like the community's weird, and this is just gaming communities at large. And we've talked about it on the show before, but I'm just gonna say it again. Like, everybody has a different idea of what makes a game good, what would make balance perfect. Like balance is as much of an art as it is a science. And you can look at numbers and pick rates and win rates, and see who's strong and who's not strong, and base your changes off of those sorts of things. But that sort of high level data doesn't really tell you what it is about those characters that's making them strong. And I think everybody, like we talked about with Hawkeye a couple weeks ago, like everybody has a different idea of what needs to be changed. And so when the community kind of gets up in a tizzy like they have been over the last week, which, let's be honest, the Marvel Rivals community just moves from one reason to quit to the next. So, you know, EOMM, the support strike, like all this shit. Now I've been reading about a tank strike that's apparently supposed to be happening in Marvel Rivals, but I don't know. It's frustrating to see because you don't even give like the team a chance to respond to the things that you're upset about. And I get it. Like the balance changes didn't make a whole lot of sense. We were talking about them last week, but I think the one thing that really gets under my skin the most in these sorts of things is when a community starts calling out like an individual person on the team and like starts calling for their head. And unfortunately, like Zeong got caught up in that, and everybody was like, "Fire Zeong!" Like, what the fuck's he even doing? Is he even looking at the feedback? Is he even looking at the data? Blah blah blah. And it's just like, number one, guys, that is a human being who is just trying to pay some bills and make a life for himself. You know, I get like calling out billionaires and CEOs and like people who can do without, but calling for like the living of a man who is doing his best is crazy to me. Not to mention, I work on a fairly small team for a video game. Um, and there are still a lot of voices that go into the changes that we're going to make for that game. Um, and it's not just one person who is kind of where the buck necessarily stops. Like everybody, like a bunch of people have says in it, has a say in it. Rivals is a much bigger team of people working on this game, so there's more voices going into it, and Zeong has to parse through what the feedback is and make decisions, but he's not the sole arbiter of the balance changes that come to this game. And I think we could do better as a community for Marvel Rivals and just as a community in gaming in general to be a little more gracious when it comes to this sort of stuff and not be so like calling for somebody's job is just like fucking crazy. Like, oh man, I don't like what you did with Star-Lord in this patch. You should have to be on the job hunt now. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's makes you wonder how many of the people that say these things are W-2 employees, or it's whatever its equivalent is in other places. I don't know. It's yeah, but sometimes, I mean, people do know how it is. They just kind of pop off at the mouth, and like without really thinking of what it is that they're saying. I think there's a lot to be said for kind of just slowing your roll, but that's just me. I'm just a dude.
Yeah. And it would have paid off in this instance because they put out these patch notes a couple days ago, said, Rivals loud and clear. We hear you. After weighing community feedback and hero performance data, we will bring some balance adjustments in patch 0219. So the patch that comes out tomorrow, to keep season 6 feeling stable for the entire season and ensure the players can join in at any point during these 2 months without compromising their consistent experience. The season 6.5 changes were designed to be restrained with a smaller impact on the overall meta, but no worries, we're tracking your feedback as always and testing the proposed changes internally. Patch 0219 will target a subset of high-performing heroes that have drawn stronger feedback. There's more content coming your way, and we'll roll it out in Season 7. Please stay tuned. So these are the changes that are coming, Seth. Elsa Bloodstone, her ult is getting toned down, reducing the health of Glartrox, reducing its dash duration, and reducing the hitbox.
Call it what it is, the Gluck Gluck.
The Gluck Gluck, that's right, yeah. Sorry, because Glartrox doesn't make any sense. Gluck Gluck. Yeah. Guys, when you're getting ulted by Elsa Bloodstone, just yell to your team you're getting Gluck Glucked. Guaranteed laugh.
95% of the time.
Yeah, 95%. If they're if they're also in the ult, they're probably not going to be as happy to hear it. But if they're not, you've got comedy gold on your hands. Hawkeye is getting a reduction in piercing arrows base damage from 34 to 28, reduce the base damage of a fully charged arrow from 85 to 70, and when boosted by Archer's focus, the damage of a charged arrow is down from 175 to 160. And then Hela is just getting some damage fall off to her base attack, and then Gambit is getting a reduction in his base health from 275 to 250, and then his breaking spades now grants 10% damage boost instead of 15%. What do you think of this, Seth?
I mean, sounds good to me. I'm definitely here for the Hawkeye nerfs. I haven't really played that much since this patch dropped, and so I'll be kind of anxious to see how it's affecting like bans and that kind of thing as we go in, and kind of what it's like to play up against some more Hawkeyes. Um, Gambit, I've just kind of recently fallen into playing him, so I need to kind of test that out to see how different he feels. He's just kind of continually been nerfed. Like it seems like once a week he's getting docked somehow, some way. And so I don't know how much I finally started to kind of wrap my mind around his kit. It took me long enough, but I also wasn't trying very hard. So now, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like I keep getting disincentivized to play him, but I also think he's cool as hell. So I still want to play him, as like like somebody who just appreciates him some Gambit. So we'll see. Overall, I mean, I'm kind of taking this as like a good thing. Just it remains for me to be seen how this is going to like mitigate those issues, and like how good it feels versus what it felt like a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm. I'm all for these duelist changes. I think, Poke has been the biggest headache trying to deal with that, especially as like a tank player. It makes approaching insanely difficult, especially when there's like a Hawkeye or Hela out there. The Elsa stuff makes a lot of sense because it was basically a third tank out there when she would put her ult out. Like the space that you create is crazy, and also just the CC that you can get on multiple people at one time is insane too. So love all those changes. I'm Phoenix dodged a nerf here, which is kind of the other poke merchant that we have, and I think we know why that is. It's because of the skin that's coming later this season. But yeah, I'm all for kind of taking down Poke a little bit. The Gambit stuff doesn't make any sense to me because I think Gambit still needs nerfed, but I don't think these are the right nerfs. Maybe the base health can do something. I don't think anybody was looking at breaking spades and thinking that was the thing that was broken about his kit. It's all about his ult, right? Like if he gets that ult on the entire team, it's GG's. So like I don't know, could you change it possibly to like his ult only goes on the three players with like the lowest percent health remaining or something like that.
Mhm.
Like something that makes it a little less like insta win if you don't have another Gambit ult on the other side to match it. But and I think this has been kind of my issue with a lot of the patches is it's just like everybody kind of hates the ults in the game and the overpowered ults, but there doesn't ever really seem to be much adjustment on the ult front.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. I get them not wanting to gut Gambit either because he's fun. He's an interesting character, but I think they could do some interesting things to maybe adjust him a little bit more. Um, but yeah, Seth, we're kind of a week into season 6.5 now. What are your thoughts on Elsa? Like playing her and playing against her?
I mean, I think I had pretty much dropped all my truth bombs earlier, for what they are, as bombastic or not as they are. She's fun. I like and appreciate how straightforward she is. There are some things like I still don't understand, like that kind of passive meter that she has. That's one of those things. Typically, when that stuff happens, I go to Luke to like for him to explain them to me because I know that he's done more reading on the subject than I have. So I don't think we've really played around as much since she dropped to be able to talk about her that much. But overall, she's cool. I like that she's there, and I kind of like I like that she's a step back from that kind of just Mongo convoluted, um, just like 5-star difficulty kits that we've been getting here lately. 4 or 5, whatever they are.
6 for Deadpool.
True, true. Still don't believe that, but I guess I don't
Who are we to say?
know.
Uh, yeah, Elsa is like I think an interesting character, but in the sense that I think without any changes to her kit, we're gonna see her picked more because I feel like I didn't see her getting insta locked as deep into the weekend as I did with Rogue or with obviously with Deadpool. There were a lot of games I could kind of easily snag Elsa, and that's not a very common thing in the first week.
I think it's just because of the nature of that character. Like she's not a Deadpool, or she's not a Gambit, or a Rogue. She's just kind of a deep cut character. I think the same kind of thing. I think Angela was maybe a
Hmm.
little bit more popular at first because just like of how she's the first flying tank, and people wanted to play around with what that felt like. But Elsa Bloodstone, she's just kind of another duelist character, and while she's cool, she's not like she doesn't have this probably like enormous fan base that a lot of these other characters have had, or she's not kind of experimental enough to bring that much attention either. I like her. I do enjoy having her in the game now, but yeah, I definitely see why, and I'm glad. Like I'm glad that like we do get these kinds of chances to like play around with characters early on, and we don't have
Hmm.
to fight for them for weeks at a time like we do for some others.
Yeah. I do think though that what Elsa lacks in maybe like a built-in fan base and what she lacks in hype, she more than makes up for, I think, in one of the strongest kits we've seen released from a new character since probably like the Gambit launch. Um, Mostly just because uh it, well, I'll get into that in a second. I because I will say this. I think her kit is a lot more about kind of cooldown management, and I think that there are certain kind of min maxing practices you have to have with her to get good with her. So I think we're going to start to see her presence in pick ban in competitive increase over the course of this patch as people start to play around with her and realize kind of what her strengths are, because her strength is, I think a lot of people that I've seen playing her are still trying to play her as kind of like in that Bucky range where you're sort of like back playing within your tanks and stuff like that, and not really approaching all that much. Whereas I think she probably belongs more in like the Deadpool range where you can just not Deadpool, the Daredevil range where you can just kind of face tank and run at the back line. Um,
Yeah, she's a brawler. She's got that. I mean, she's got what, two, at least two dashes, and like plus like each that one dash has like kind of a secondary move to it. You've got that dash. How does her other dash even work? Like where you push circle and dash to somebody? Is it based on the trap,
yeah,
or
it's
is
based
it?
if you have somebody in the trap, you can press circle again
That's what,
to
so like
dash to
she's
them.
got these like a lot of movement, and yeah, I do. I think that you can really play her as a brawler in a lot of ways, and not so much as kind of like from afar.
Well, and the other really good thing about her dashes is it gives you overhealth every time you use it.
Mhm.
So it's like you have this survivability that's built into her kit that's just kind of always online if you have those cooldowns available. Bucky has some of that because if you like land his alternate fire, you get some overhealth back. But I think as players start to realize how they can play around those dashes and like kind of make players have to hit one or two more shots to kill them, we're going to see Elsa start to get played more. I think she's still got a lot of presence already
Mhm.
in competitive, but Punisher's really strong right now. Star Lord's really strong right now. Hawkeye's still really strong. Phoenix still really strong. Like there's established characters that at least in our rank where most of the people in Diamond aren't playing to stay in Diamond. They're wanting to climb. So they're going to play their comfort picks. So I
Yeah.
think it's just going to take us some time to see more Elsa. All right. Well, let's get out of here, Seth. I think that's going to do it for us this week. I'm excited for this emergency patch that's coming up, and seeing how that changes. What are you going to be getting up to in Rivals this week?
I'm still gonna be rocking that grind, with with some help from some others, trying to just kind of get caught up in where I want to be. yeah, looking forward to playing with you some and trying to just buckle in and get the thing done. Like just get where we want to be and then take a break before we have to do it all over again next season here in just a few short weeks.
Yep, the grind never stops. Yeah, I really want us to focus on getting to GM um, this season as well. So, um, but yeah, other than that, I think I'm pretty close to my Rogue Lord. So
Mm,
pretty excited about that. And then just going to keep playing more Groot as well. Been playing a little bit more Jeff. I'm terrible with him. I feel like I don't get nearly as much value as a lot of people do out of it. But
I mean, once you kind of like crack the code, it just like makes sense. I think, just like with a lot of other characters, like you kind of figure out what works and what doesn't, and when to play them, when not to play them, and yeah, it just kind of comes with time.
I texted you this the other day, but I've been playing a little bit more Rocket League lately.
Hmm.
And something has clicked in the last like 2
After
days.
after like 12 years of
Yeah, and this is a game like I go back to not regularly, but every couple of years I get an itch, and every time it's like, God damn, I suck at this thing. But something happened in these last 2 days, and I'm like hitting aerials. I like know where I'm supposed to be on the field and stuff, and so I want to play a little bit more Rocket League. And I think, yeah, the moment that happened, I mean, that happened with Rogue too, where it was just like, oh, her kit like makes sense to me now. So it's a good feeling in these games when you can reach that state, and then it's all about finding that groove, getting in the flow state after that.
hmm
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here, though. Let us know your thoughts on season 6.5, the new balance changes, the predictions you have for the Rivals Assemble fan event, all that sort of stuff in the comments. And we will be back next week. But until then, good luck in your games. Good luck on the climb. We love you. Goodbye.
Later, guys.